I think much like the Empire State Building, I have no choice but to get this right. Failure is not an option, but is likely an outcome. Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm Phillip Youakim, an architect, and today I'll be building a structure in Minecraft. Last time I built the Empire State Building out of Legos without instructions, and based on the comments on that video, I was requested to do something in Minecraft. I don't know what I'm going to build yet. There were some suggestions in the comments. What are we going to do?
You are going to be building the Sydney Opera House.
I'm from Sydney. I've seen the Opera House my whole life. I spent a lot of time there as a kid. My very first project was based upon the Opera House. So we'll have 1 hour on the clock. All right, time to get started. So it's built on a peninsula that's called Bennelong Point. So then to try to draw in our shells, the largest shell kind of lives something like this. It has its curve come down. So it was designed by a Danish architect named Joern Utzon, and it was part of an architectural competition. So he actually won the competition to build the Sydney Opera House. They had hundreds of entries, and it's a bit of a sad story actually in the end. They had shortlisted 3 other proposals, and then a famous American-Finnish architect named Eero Saarinen was running late for the judging. And they had the 3 final selections laid out, and Eero Saarinen arrived, and there was a discard pile with Joern Utzon's proposal on top of the pile. He went through all the proposals and then that one, which was on the discard pile. So ultimately this came from the ashes to win the competition. I think that covers it for this. So, as we can see, it has a different facade on every side. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I think this is the peninsula we're going to try to work with. So the pedestal, or the podium that it sits off, is kind of like a sandy color. Oh, there we go, smooth sandstone, that'll do. Take this smooth quartz, that should be good. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that there was a bit of an unfortunate history with the architect, Joern Utzon, because the project itself, in terms of its budget and timeline, was a massive failure. It's one of the worst in history. So they had budgeted, I believe it was $7 million to build it, and 4 years. It took 14 years, and they spent $102 million on it. When there was a change of government in New South Wales, the state in which Sydney is the capital of, the new government kind of vilified Utzon to the point that he left. And sadly, he never came back to Australia. He never saw the completed work. Yeah, so I'm building out the base, trying to build out at least the location in which I will build this, but 1 hour is not going to be pretty. A very cool part of the Opera House that most people don't know about is the underground garage. It has a donut double helix. So it's 2 intersected spirals. So when you're in the parking garage and you keep driving down this spiral, eventually you get to the bottom and just end up on the spiral going up. But we're not going to even go there. So that's our pedestal. Nothing like what I drew. Well, I guess something like it. I gotta be nicer to myself. All right, I'm gonna try to draw out the shells or the sails on the top. The sails will be exceptional to get the angle right from multiple views, which I don't think is possible. Utzon was inspired by birds' wings and seashells, clouds, so it was very much a natural typed form. You know, as it sits on the peninsula of the harbour, it looks like sails of a ship that sit out there. So it's become a cornerstone of the architecture of Sydney itself, and it's one of the most iconic buildings in the world. And it was kind of a modernist, expressionist design that didn't partake to some of the work happening around the 1960s all around the world. It was a massive commitment, which is why it took so long and went so far over budget, because they were trying to do the impossible, and they did it. I think we're working with too many angles at too many orientations here, and that's just one sail in half the time.
How many sails are there?
10. I think much like the Empire State Building, I have no choice but to get this right, because it's so recognizable. Everyone knows what this looks like. It's not like, you know, an obscure building somewhere. Failure is not an option, but is likely an outcome. What am I going to do? I'm going to say a prayer, realize that we're probably failing, and then beg for more time. Oh, I can cantilever. Oh, that changes things. I wish I knew that from the beginning. Yeah, from this facade, the building kind of looks like a Gothic cathedral, and I don't think we're going to achieve anything Gothic about that. It looks like a fat penguin being hugged by a robot man. It's definitely being able to cantilever these out is much more efficient. I don't have to spend so much time destroying what I build. I say that as I destroy what I built. How much time do I have left?
20 minutes.
20 more minutes of failure. Remember when we started and I said I was happy about the choice of the Sydney Opera House? I take that back now. Oh, now it's kind of looking like two penguins doing the dirty. By dirty, I mean construction work. Yeah, this is definitely not a way I would recommend building this. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to work up to down. I probably should have drawn a more accurate footprint and put some internal lines to indicate where things should go. Maybe even put in, you know, a grid, a 3D grid, almost like scaffolding that kind of pointed up towards where things should start and finish, instead of going in so willy-nilly. Aha! I can build in the sky if I have one. So now, I think what I should have done is, let's say I estimated the peak of this shell should be about there. Measure out a point that I want it to finish at. Unlike Legos, we don't have the budgetary restraint here, right? I can have infinite bricks. So I imagine if you didn't have the time restraint, you could, you know, take a larger site and build an exact replica. You just have to increase the scale enough that the blocks allow you to have your curved details look smooth enough. I mean, a curve is nothing but a series of points. So if you have enough of them, it will look curvilicious. The roof is covered in mostly orthogonal tiles. And they also worked out how to build those in a system using that orange method. I believe the tiles came from Sweden. The glass came in from France. So it was an international effort for such an international building. Are they llamas?
There may be llamas, yes.
Just like Sydney. I have 5 minutes left, and I think the rain perfectly conveys the mood. I knew this would be difficult. I knew it would be more difficult than Lego, but there was a part of me that was like, you know, we can do this. You know, how hard is it to build things out of blocks? I'm a professional. I've done this for many years. I mean, trained with using architectural softwares. How hard could a toy be? Well, at least the scale of the top is looking better. I have a feeling that perhaps I started off too high. It's kind of looking like a squished version. So if I cut off the base here, it might look better, but I guess we can have a floating building. How much time?
30 seconds.
That's not gonna happen. Maybe just 2 more bricks.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finished.
So, the Sydney Opera House, or as it will now be called, the Dancing Penguins.
How do you think you did?
Horribly. I guess in terms of its form, we're about 30% there. I guess if you're creatively looking at it, you know, blur your eyes, have a couple of drinks, it's kind of there. I think it's appropriate that we thought we could do this in an hour, and they thought they could build this in 4 years. It took them 14 years, so I guess I need a couple more hours. I knew it would be difficult to try to replicate the form. I thought I'd get a little closer. I had higher expectations for myself. I think if I had to do it again, a couple days of practice would have helped first if I had gotten over some of the flaws in my usage of the software. Otherwise, it's fantastic. It's a great interface. It's very exciting. A lot of people are playing this. I hope that they're all inspired to be architects. It's a wonderful outsource for creativity again. Thank you for watching. If you have any tips for me as I continue to use Minecraft, please throw those in the comments. If you'd like me to see me build something else in Minecraft, let me know. Otherwise, if you want me to do a different medium altogether, please let us know in the comments.